Cheated, lied to, or scammed? She's tackling every opportunity to make something that's going wrong right. Better call Bingham.
From large corporations to mom and pop businesses, most have a website. But did you know your website could be a sitting duck for a lawsuit that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars? Business websites, just like the physical locations, are required under the Americans with Disabilities Act to be accessible.
And that includes customers who are blind or deaf. 8 on Your Side investigator Shannon Bankin joins us now. And Keith and I were so interested when we heard you were doing this story, because I don't think a lot of businesses even think about this being a possibility.
This is something so many businesses haven't heard of. I've been hearing from them all day. But if your website isn't accessible, those who are visually or hearing impaired can't use the site. And some of those people are fighting back. I found disabled activists filing ADA website lawsuits by the stackful. Ben Tundis and Donna Dansel own Island Comfort Footwear in Westfield Countryside Mall in Clearwater.
And this is my shipping area where I do my web orders.
They decided to expand by selling their shoes online. They launched a website, and then, bam, a lawsuit.
Summons on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock at night in the dark. Got a knock on the door.
A blind woman in South Florida claims their website isn't compatible with screen reading software used by the visually impaired, leaving her unable to buy their shoes.
It's a $65 a month website. You know, it's
Was there ever any mention on what you need to do to make sure you're ADA compliant?
Absolutely not. No mention at all.
When most business owners think ADA, they think handicap parking spots, ramps, and grab bars in restrooms. ADA lawsuits are nothing new. But now, the spotlight is on websites. 2,285 ADA website lawsuits were filed in federal courts in 2018, a yearly increase of a whopping 181%. Emily Fuller, the woman who sued the Clearwater shoe store, has gone after 175 businesses in the past 2 years, shown here by all of these lawsuits. First, she went after big names like Sephora, Home Depot, and Chick-fil-A. Now she has sued a store that sells Tampa Bay Lightning gear inside Amalie Arena. Critics call these mass lawsuits a shakedown.
The attorneys are telling us, we spoke to many, they're saying you can't fight this. If you fight this, you're going to quadruple your bill. There's nothing you can do, just write them a check.
Companies settle because there's no defense to ignoring ADA requirements. Ms. Fuller's attorney tells me his client is an advocate fighting to improve society, and these lawsuits are not going away.
$3:49.72 link.
To better understand the struggle facing the blind, I sat down with Louise Payton, a Tampa woman who uses a screen reader to do things like shop,
Suspected Seminole Heights serial killer speaks.
read the news,
Enter email or phone edit.
and use Facebook. When websites don't have the correct codes to communicate with her software, she's excluded.
Terms link crime not a robot checkbox not checked.
It has to be really frustrating. You get this far and you can't get past that one thing.
Exactly.
Frustrations like that are why Chris Danielson of the National Federation of the Blind tells me businesses need to update their websites. But he believes education and negotiation should come first.
Rather than spraying businesses with a fire hose of litigation, a much more thoughtful and transparent approach would be a better form of advocacy.
Tundis agrees with that.
Now take a few steps with that thing compared to your fanning.
He takes this lawsuit personally and says he would have helped Ms. Fuller and changed his website if she had just asked.
Now we service everyone here as if they're our family.
So who's making money on this? Well, the plaintiffs aren't supposed to receive any money because they aren't allowed to sue for damages under the ADA, but the lawyers are collecting attorney's fees that could range from a couple $1,000s to $20,000 and a lot more if this goes to trial, and that's why so many people settle.
But that could crush a small business. I mean,
Yes.
it begs the question, how do you make sure that your website is compliant, and is it a simple fix?
Sometimes it can be simple, but oftentimes it's not. It's a lot easier to do this on the front end when you're launching your website. You need to make sure that your web developer knows how to make your site compatible. There are industry recognized standards and various companies that you can hire to help you with your site. Also, the National Federation of the Blind and the local Lighthouse for the Blind can help. I spoke with both of them, and they said they'll do audits and they'll help people for free in some cases.
Now, the guy at the shoe store said it was costing him $65 a month for his website. But if you add this feature that allows the blind to read, is that a lot more money? Is that?
It could be, depending on how complicated your site is. A simple site, I talked to folks who do audits, $1,600 to audit your site, more money, to make sure that it is compatible. So it can add up.
Yeah.
But you're also, you're following the law and you're opening up for potential customers that otherwise wouldn't be able to use your site.
Sure. All right. Interesting. Never would have thought of it. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
If you have a problem that needs solving, you better call Benkin. The telephone number is 1-855-BENKIN.
Businesses hit by a record wave of lawsuits in connection with America's With a Disability Act. In particular, lawsuits that allege websites are not ADA compliant. 1,000 such lawsuits actually filed this year alone, just so far this year, 2018. More this year than in all of 2017. One of the lawyers who crunched the numbers on this show joins us now, Min Vu with Seyfarth Shaw. Min, welcome to the program. Good to see you.
Thank you.
First of all, in what way is a website non-ADA compliant?
Well, so websites have to be designed and constructed in a way that is accessible to people with disabilities. Right. So people who are blind, for example, use screen reader software, and that has to interact with the website. And if the website is not designed to interact with it properly, it's not going to work.
So a blind person could sue the website and say, you're not taking care of me under the terms of the Act. I want you to make sure you get it right and pay me some money. Is that how it works?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. Supposing someone is deaf, can you insist that the website speaks to you, has an audio portion? That's part of it?
Well, actually, if you're deaf, then you would want to have closed captioning on your online videos.
Yeah, so okay, I'm sorry.
But for the blind people, yes. The blind people would need, the website doesn't have to speak to them. It's the fact that the website has to be compatible with the screen reader software that then reads the content and functionality to the person who's blind.
You know, this kind of thing in America drives me nuts. I just find it a legal money grab. Am I going too far?
Some of it's a money grab, some of it's legitimate. I mean, put it this way. Everything's online now, right? And so it is very difficult to basically do anything without being able to be on a website and be able to access it. So those are legitimate concerns, and there are lots of advocates who are legitimately concerned. The problem is that many of the plaintiffs' lawyers have figured out that the vast majority of businesses don't have an accessible website, because everybody was kind of caught with their pants down. You know, there are no regulations on this, and the courts have started to basically come out saying, yes, your website has to be accessible. So everybody's caught kind of unaware, and these plaintiffs' lawyers are taking advantage.
It's going to be wildly expensive if every single website has to be ADA compliant. That's wildly expensive, isn't it?
It's really expensive, absolutely. I mean, you think about how many millions of websites there are out there. I don't even think there are enough consultants to help people. This is not something you and I can just figure out.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not.
So the lawyer files the suit and says, you're not compliant. What does the lawyer say? Make your website compliant and/or give me money? Is that how it works?
No, usually they ask for give me money and make the website compliant.
Give me money and make it. Yes. So punitively, give me money. And does
well,
the lawyer
it's more that the ADA allows lawyers to get their attorney's fees if they win. Okay. So as part of the settlement, you're going to have to pay their fees, but sometimes those fees don't necessarily have anything to do with actual time spent.
No, of course they don't. Of course they don't.
because otherwise the alternative is to litigate the case, and that's very expensive.
I'm sorry, but I do find that a racket. I find it a racket, a legalized racket. I'm sure you don't agree with me, but I'll give the last word to you.
I mean, put it this way. We do defense work, so obviously we're benefiting from this, but the situation is wrong. I mean, there should be regulations on this. There should be a process, clear rules, and time for businesses to basically make their websites accessible.
All right, Minvu, you're not quite joining me on my outrage, but come back again and maybe you will.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
A fight for accessibility or personal profit. I-Team investigator Katie LeGrone's ongoing series into excessive ADA lawsuits discovers Florida business owners are now being sued over an ADA violation you've probably never heard of.
If you think the ADA is limited to ramps and parking spaces, meet Louise Payton.
Blank, which is your favorite city park?
Which is your favorite city park?
Blind since birth, she's learned to navigate the world without sight.
Hit this letter.
Account information.
And the World Wide Web is no exception.
Every day I'm online.
Wrapping to top.
Doing something with the paper.
Heading level 1, the new web track.
The internet.
Tab.
I even read the Wall Street Journal.
Tab. All tab. Type in text.
A screen reader literally reads websites to Louise.
I-Teen:
But a new wave of lawsuits filed in the Sunshine State reveal many Florida businesses are dark to the disabled.
Oh, come on. Why is it not showing up? You might as well be locked out.
Our latest investigation into excessive ADA lawsuits uncovers Florida business owners are now being sued for having websites that are not ADA compliant. While the majority are being filed in South Florida by the same Miami-based attorney, numbers show these web suits are on the rise, from just a couple in 2015 to more than 130 a year later.
Follow the money.
Florida Representative Tom Leaks believes it's the next era in ADA abuse.
If there's a new way to gin up a lawsuit and to get themselves into a point of leverage where they can collect attorney's fees, they'll find it.
I think it's an easy way for lawyers to pursue ADA lawsuits.
Scott Trachtenberg knows all about it. His small business was sued over it 3.5 years ago.
When I was served, my initial reaction was surprise, frustration.
But after spending thousands of dollars to make his website ADA compliant, Scott realized something bigger.
I am yet to meet anybody that's aware of this.
Which is how Scott's new business was born.
Test your website for ADA compliance.
Today, he works to make other businesses website friendly to the disabled.
I think that this is something that's only going to become a much larger issue.
www.
What happened? It's not showing up.
A new wave of ADA lawsuits sparking the same old debate.
There are times when I've gotten frustrated and just walked away from a website because I couldn't access it.
Are these cases advocating accessibility for people like Louise Payton?
Check radio button, not check Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Or personal profit for those who file them?
The new web track sample called...
I'm I-Team investigator Katie LeGrone, taking action for you.
ADA website accessibility claims are on the rise, with a reported 177% increase in website accessibility lawsuits filed from 2017 to 2018, and a 131% increase in the filings during the first quarter of 2019 as compared to the first quarter of 2018. These lawsuits show no signs of slowing down. This striking increase in litigation, along with the Ninth Circuit's recent reversal in Robles versus Domino's, underscores the fact that real estate professionals need to understand and take measures to address website accessibility. The ADA's requirement that businesses provide physically accessible spaces is undisputed. However, the ADA is silent on its application to the Internet. With the Department of Justice's failure to provide guidance on this issue, businesses have been left to struggle with if and how to comply with the ADA in their electronic spaces. And consumers have turned to the courts to resolve this issue, resulting in a mounting body of case law finding that the ADA's existing accessibility requirements do in fact apply to a business's online presence. In a recent and notable decision, the Ninth Circuit reversed the district court's decision in Robles versus Domino's. Here, a visually impaired plaintiff alleged that Domino's website and mobile application were inaccessible in violation of the ADA. The district court ruled that websites couldn't be deemed in violation of the ADA when the Department of Justice has not yet provided specific guidance as to what constitutes ADA website accessibility. The Ninth Circuit disagreed. In overturning the district court's decision, the Ninth Circuit held that existing guidance already articulates comprehensible standards that require websites to provide full and equal access to individuals with disabilities, noting that waiting for the Department of Justice to provide guidance would cause an undue delay for the plaintiff's right to full and equal access to Domino's goods and services. The United States Supreme Court is currently considering Domino's appeal, but in the meantime, we can add this case to the accumulating body of precedents that the ADA does in fact apply to electronic spaces. To protect your business from being the subject of the next ADA website accessibility lawsuit, consider the following. First, don't wait to take action. Despite the fact that the Department of Justice has demonstrated its unwillingness to issue additional guidance on website accessibility, courts are overwhelmingly applying the ADA to electronic spaces. Second, conduct an accessibility audit on your business's websites and mobile applications. Based on the audit results, create and begin executing a plan to address identified accessibility issues. Third, become familiar with the accessibility standards adopted in the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, or hire an expert who is. Although WCAG standards are not part of the ADA or its regulations, federal agencies have adopted the WCAG standards in conforming their own websites, and these guidelines are often cited by courts as the standard for website accessibility. Finally, include an accessibility policy and notice on your website. Feel free to use NAR's accessibility statement on your website. You can find NAR's statement via the link at the bottom of NAR's homepage. NAR will continue to follow the issue of website accessibility closely, and in the meantime, be sure to take steps to protect your business. Thanks for watching this episode of Window to the Law.
Hello, I'm Jim Taylor, and I'm the founder of the ADAWebComply.org website. I am a ADA web analyst, and we are a ADA compliance agency. We are a web consulting agency with all necessary skills, the expertise, and have solutions to render your websites and web contents to be ADA compliant and search engine friendly. We hold years of experience, right now over 20, and under our belt, and we intend to fully satisfy our clients in every need they have. We deliver very easily accessible websites along with online stores, blogs, with web pages to all users by making them fully ADA compliant and search engine friendly. It's our mission to make web contents more accessible to the disabled, therefore helping our clients tap into this multi-billion-dollar market to help our clients serve and save tens of thousands of dollars from imminent lawsuit, to help render our clients' web contents more accessible and search engine friendly. And we're here to create awareness about the Americans with Disability Act, so you don't fall victim to imminent lawsuits. We help businesses get their websites, their online stores, their blogs and web pages, as well as all web content to become not only ADA compliant and save thousands of dollars in lawsuits, but also to become much more visible and search engine friendly to bring in more targeted traffic. So what is ADA and why should you care? Well, ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act of the federal government, requires businesses to make accommodations for people with disabilities in all their web content. ADA provides that web content should be accessible to the blind, the deaf, and those who must navigate by voice, search with screen readers, or other assistive technologies. So many have fallen victim, and you may just be next. Something is currently going on, and it'll only be a matter of time before it gets to you or your company. Website owners are being targeted and sued for a law they are ignorant of. Now, Beyonce's website wasn't even shielded for the ADA law. And I venture to say that you're probably not going to be shielded by the ADA accessibility lawsuits that are hitting this country nationwide. Now, no one is safe, and it doesn't matter if you're a local business owner, a digital marketer, you have an e-commerce store, a service business with a website, a real estate agency. It really doesn't matter. If you have a website, you're probably not safe. ADA provides that web content should be accessible to the blind, the deaf, and those who must navigate by voice, screen readers, or other assistive technologies. Now, unlike the GDPR, the ADA law requires no notice before a lawsuit is filed against a company for non-compliance. The fact is, you need to play the fast one by getting all of your web content ADA compliant as soon as possible, or risk going to court very soon. There are so many benefits to having your website and web content ADA compliant. The first is you will avoid an imminent lawsuit coming your way or to your business. You become search engine friendly on the internet because you are compliant. And also, one of the biggest things is you are able to tap into a $650 billion a year disability market, because currently most of the websites are not ADA compliant and the user cannot use your website. But how do you get your website to be ADA compliant? You'll have to go through tons and tons of assets hoping that you'll get everything compliant on your site. And even if you do take care of the current items on your site, what about the other pages, files, videos, audio files, and more that are lurking in the dark recesses of your server that you've forgotten about? Not to mention that you need to make sure that you have training, which is long and lengthy and usually expensive to learn. Have a web accessibility policy page for your visitors to look at. Make a web accessibility statement. Appoint an accessibility coordinator, and hiring an independent consulting depending on how large your business is, and invite feedback. But we've got you a better way, and we've got you covered. Why not sit back while we help you get your websites and all your web contents ADA compliant in a flash? Let us bring our 20 years of experience into play and help you get your website and web content ADA compliant in a flash. We've helped businesses and site owners like you for years and saved so many of them from imminent lawsuits. We have the requisite skills and team players to get the job done. Not to mention our vast experience also. Oh yeah, and guess what? ADA is a great search engine optimization tool also. Did you know that having an accessible website is so important that Google gives it more relevance than one that isn't? So by not having an accessible website for disabled people, you could be losing out on a ton of potential customers, which means losing out on more potential revenue. Just another reason to get your web content to be ADA compliant now. So how do we get our websites to be compliant for ADA? Just go to our website at adawebcomply.org, just like it says at the top of the screen there. Or you can email us at comply@adawebcomply.org. When you get to the website, all you need to do is click on one of the Buy Now buttons and we will get it set up for you or give you other options. Listen, thanks for taking the time to watch this, and we hope you've learned something from this that can make your life easier and more prosperous.